Alright, peace. So, I was talking to one of my kinfolk in the text messages, and he pissed me off. So, he made me want to do this video. Yeah, I sent a picture to our group text, me and my partners, and him with what I'm saying, celebrating St. Patrick's Day. So, I'm gonna bring him a little history on St. Patrick's Day. I'm gonna start with this book, and I'm gonna go to this book. Okay, prove a couple points, give y'all some history in your peoples, show you what you're doing. Alright, so I'm gonna pause, go to pages, read, pause, go to what I'm saying, make it quick, make it understandable. Hold on. Alright, so we start here. Tree, the serpent, crocodile worship. Okay. I'm skipping that. It's easy to see whence the primal idea of this dual Janus-like character of the serpent, the good and the bad. The symbol is one of the most ancient because the reptile preceded the bird. The bird is a mammal. Thence the belief, or rather superstition, of the savage tribes, talking about us on the slick, who thinks that the souls of their ancestors lived under this form, and the general association of the serpent with the tree. The legends about the various things it represents are numberless, but as most of them are allegorical, okay, they have now passed into the class of fables based on ignorance and dark superstition. For instance, when Philostratus narrates that the natives of in Arabia fed on the heart and liver of serpents in order to learn the language of all the animals, the serpent being credited with that faculty, he certainly never meant his words to be accepted literally, as will be found most than once as we proceed. The serpent, this is what I got read it for, listen. The serpent and dragon were the names given to the wise ones, the initiated adepts of olden times. It was their wisdom and their learning that was devoured or assimilated by their followers, whence the allegory. All right? So, you understand, when they say the serpent or the dragon, they're talking about the serpent and dragon people, because serpent means wisdom. Okay? Now, I'll pause that and go to the next one. Hold on. All right, peace. Back to this book, The Serpent Grail by Philip Gardner. Okay? And Gary Osborne. All right. In Pazarthel, Wolfram von Essenbach tells us that the Grail is a stone that was brought from heaven to earth by the neutral angels, so called because they refused to take sides when there was a war in heaven. Although they are also mentioned in Dante's Inferno, which was written in the 14th century, we can find no obvious source for Eschenbach's neutral angels. Instead, we discover that the origin of the Grail goes back in time to a mysterious priesthood of gods and demigods known as the Shining Ones. Follow. The Egyptian gods of the pre-dynastic period were known as Neteru, which means God, spirit, soul. You had some have translated Neter as neutral, nature, and suggest that words like neither or nether, as in netherworld, stem from it. The Neter gods include Osiris, Horus, and Thoth. According to Turian Papyrus, which lists the names of these gods and later dynasties of the pharaohs, the long reign of the Neter were followed by the mysterious priesthood known as Shemu's Hor, the followers of Horus. Horus having been the last Neter god. This priesthood was also known as Anku, which means the Shining Ones. By all accounts, these gods and their priests or militant arm, who were known as Watchers or Nephilim, the angels who were said to come down from the heaven, Nephilim, they were giants in those days, all right, has been based in ancient Sumeria, before moving to Heliopolis in Egypt. This mysterious race of beings has also been linked to the fish deities, who were said to have come from the sea. More specifically, they were said to have come from the submerged land, which inevitably invokes the tales of the lost continent of Atlantis, or Lemuria. These shining ones also settled in other places around the globe. In India, they were known as the Nagas. Negas, my nigga. Now remember they said when they got to America they called it India because they looked like they was in India. India was Negas. Okay. Serpent lords. You see, nega means serpent lords. You see? Okay. In Mesoamerica, meaning America, they were the feathered serpents. In China, they were known as water beings. Our research into the Shining Ones suggests that they were an advanced shamanistic-based culture, although an account of their long and often, deliberately distorted history. Okay, this was the whole point. I was arguing with this. My kinfolk sent me some about St. Patrick's Day from some European talking about how St. Patrick ran the snakes out of Ireland. What I'm telling you is, you black folks are the snakes, the shining ones, the serpent lord, the niggas, my nigga. Now you know why you say nigga so much, because that's your word, and that's what it means. Serpent means wisdom. So anyway, although an account of their long and often deliberately distorted history, meaning they lie to you about your history, lies outside the scope of this present book, we can learn something from their cosmology, spiritual knowledge, and beliefs in the shamanistic traditions, since both were based on understanding the neutral third force. All right, so you see that the snake people, right, was the Nagas, was the serpent lords in Mesoamerica, the feather serpents. You know they talking about black folks. Hold on. All right, so we'll bring it to Ireland, right? All right, we talking about sacred temples. Stonehenge was a fascinating ancient mound located. Stonehenge, so you know that's in England. Hold on. Talking about Stonehenge. I'm gonna go here. Watch. Stuckley believed that Avebury, a Neolithic monument close to Stonehenge, was also a serpent temple. The close proximity of Hackpin Hill, Snake's Head Hill, confirms that he may have been right. Stuckley also believed that the ancient serpent worshipping race was responsible for many of the ancient structures found across Britain, which he called Dracontia. Dracontia means dragon, meaning serpent. Dragon, serpent, same thing. The problem with Stuckley is that he also believed that the Druids both worshipped and built on these ancient locations, whereas modern history places the Druids as entering Britain same time around 400 BC. However, this popular modern belief is based upon little evidence, which is mainly archaeological and minor at that. The fact that the Druids worshipped the snake is connected with their original title of adders, from the adder snake. The Druids can also be shown to be related to various sects of religious leaders across the globe, including the Brahmas of India, possibly therefore also the Naga, the name given to the serpent people or shining ones. My Naga. Hold on. It's obvious that Stonehenge and Avebury were once linked. The closeness of the two temples and the fact that Stonehenge is precisely south of Avebury cannot be coincidental. It is also no surprise to find that the places of the serpent worship also related astronomically to constellations and to the solar and lunar worship. Sound like the pyramids. Okay. Just as other serpent temples across the world. Hold on. Whether Stonehenge and Avebury were actually constructed by the Druids or not, it is possible that the Druids were descendants of the shamanistic priesthood who built these serpent temples. Hold on. It has been suggested that the serpent mound of Ohio in North America is related to Stonehenge, and that the dragon guardian of the East, Stonehenge, secret of the West. Nigga, I didn't even read this part. Now watch what he do. Whether this means is of course left to the imagination. This means is of course left to the imagination, as there is no further explanation. He ain't gonna go into it and tell you that this your land, nigga. Indeed, it is thought that the two ancient structures share the same time frame and may very well relate to each other. If ancient man did share the same beliefs and travel extensively, as the growing belief of many scholars. All right, do you get it? All right, hold on. I still ain't through. Hold on. All right, just to reiterate, the Sanskrit term naga, meaning serpent, cobra, became the name of various groups of serpent deities and demigod humans who dwelt in the beautiful underworld of palace of city of blah, blah, guarded great treasures and sometimes bestowing them on their human subject. The Nagas were said to be underwater serpents, reminder of the fish deities who came to Mesopotamia from the sea, and the Merovingian kings. I already did a video about that. Who claimed to descend from a sea serpent? Oh, they claimed to descend from Jesus. Here we also remarkably similar to the later Arthurian and Pan-European myths, healing water, the serpent, dragon, the guardian of treasures. All right. So you see the guys, the serpent. I got one more thing. Hold on. All right, I could keep going because this whole book is about us and our history, family. So if you want to go get it, go get it. You know what I'm saying? But just to spring this home, as we research more deeply into the history of the Celtic people, we found a great and once powerful race emerged from the midst of legend. They were said to have come from Ireland from the east. They had been banished from heaven like many of the great serpent angels. They were tall and beautiful like the Naga serpent people of India. They were skilled in magic, poetry, and hunting. We talking about the Celtics. Okay, hold on. Today they are regarded as semi-divine, half-human beings, Asiatic black folks. Oh, half angelic. They are known as Duads, which translate as folk of the god whose mother is Dana. The goddess Dana or Danu has been linked to the ancient Egyptian god Isis, mother of Horus. Does this mean that the mysterious people who landed in Ireland possess the magical powers, profound wisdom that are equally mysterious, the shining ones, who are also known as Horus, the followers of Horus? When they invaded Ireland, kinfolk brought with them 4 treasures, which each is associated with the magical items of the Grail romance. These are the swords of that magic spear, round, cauldron. These 4 became swords, wands, discs, cups of the tarot, spades, clubs, diamonds, hearts, and your modern playing cards. The cards you play with. Playing cards, spades, nigga. Talk about us. Anyway, the chief of the great tribe was known as Duads, all-father who equate with the pagan god Pan, Egyptian god Atum-Ra. His name brings to mind the fish being Dagon of the Philistines, who is otherwise known as Akdan or Honest or fish and serpent. You tell I'm fucking these names up. Dagda possessed a remarkable cauldron which, according to Grimm, spewed forth porridge of the great ancient all-provider. He also possessed a staff that could kill with one end and restore life with the other. Folklore say that Dagda must be cultural memory of an ancient agricultural deity, and that his association with wine and fruit betrays this fertility concept. The similarities between kinfolk and the Naga and the etymological links of the names given above suggest that the god Dagda was either imported from the east or a universal deity. Tradition according to which Saint Patrick is said to have ordered the snakes out of Ireland also reminds us of the similar tradition associated with roads. Could it be that in both cases the large number of snakes that were said to be possess these lands were in fact the followers of the serpent cult? So you see, you getting drunk and shit, celebrating St. Patrick, kicking your people out of their own goddamn land. Because we Aboriginal everywhere, baby. God damn it, this is our land, the world. So, it's more, but I'm going to leave it there. Keep celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Peace.